Okay, so we are going to look into these Taurus energies. What are these cosmic energies guiding us to do, calling us to do, as well as what is coming in with this super new moon energy. So this, I feel like this super moon energy and just Taurus season is looking to shake up the energy. It does feel like with big releases can come big opportunities, and it is important that I'm getting like seize the opportunity, don't squander um things that have been put aside for you by the divine. So we do have the jump in card, and it does speak to just saying yes to change. It is giving a 5 energy. um the thing with change is, as much change can be sent our way by the universe, it is important that we are in a receptivity to say yes, we accept change, we are open to change. um not letting things pass us by. So this is definitely going to be diving in the deep end kind of a vibe. We also have, okay, um I feel, so the energy does feel like that with these big releases can come emotional, like, oh sorry, emotional releases can be associated with the energies of this new moon. I do feel like, especially with Venus being the ruling planet of Taurus, relationships, dynamics, that sort of a thing. I do feel like people trying to right wrongs, maybe some old individuals coming back around to extend apologies, or there's opportunities for apologies so people can move on, people can lay down their swords essentially, and kind of just everyone go their own way. If it's a reunion, it's a reunion. If not, then it's just an unburdening that has probably caused some type of a blockage in either of your lives. So it does feel like a lot of cleansing with past situations where there were misunderstandings. um it does feel like a complete surrendering, like folks are just tired of bickering, folks are tired of holding the grudge, folks are tired of um just tired of fighting, tired of feeling like they have to stay guarded. It does feel like this is bringing light to the heart space. So this is not a message to say forgive and forget, but this is just about liberation. I get no sense of attitude, or how a lot of people are like, yeah, don't uh don't forget at all. I don't know, it's just they're just kind of focusing more on liberation, soul liberation. And um they're bringing my attention to something that I had posted about how I don't see, like, I don't identify moving away from a dynamic as ghosting, or when I release my energy from a situation and I no longer feed it any kind of energy. I don't necessarily call it ghosting. I call it timeline ascension. You're ascending timelines. And if this situation or this person truly aligns with you, they will follow you into that timeline. But if you feel like you are continuously raising the vibe, you are focusing on you, you are bettering your life, and that person is nowhere to be found, that tells you everything. And I don't think it should be tainted with, it being called ghosted. If anything, on the other person's end, it could feel like some sort of abandonment, or even to others, it can seem cruel. But at the end of the day, that this is how energy works, and none of this is personal. This is spiritual. This is energetic. So, um, I think when we look at these types of situations as this is not personal, this is spiritual, we start to realize like, okay, what can I control in the situation? I can control my decision making, I can control my actions. How can I just sort of release stress, the stress of feeling responsible for someone else's feelings, and again, this these issues, these fallouts, they all look different. One person's fault, it's the other person's fault. At the end of the day, there was a misalignment. And so it's just important to let go of the pain and move on. You either move on together or move on, and everyone just lives their best lives. But yeah, there's no more room for resentment. There's no more room for these um unnecessary roots taking up space in your garden. Is not needed. So yes, forgiveness is on the to-do list during this Taurus season, and during this full moon, this new moon coming up on the 27th. Let's see what else is coming through. Okay, yes, with the spontaneous portal energy comes spontaneous activations. So, what I've been noticing with the collective, at least with people around me, people have been experiencing pain in the body. People have been experiencing fluctuations with blood pressure, blood sugar, muscle pains, swelling in the joints. There are a lot of integrations taking place within the body. So everyone's, depending on how people have been taking care of themselves, depending on how people are maintaining stress within their lives, it can show up differently. So it is very important to make sure you're staying hydrated. Make sure you're just encouraging loved ones to stay calm, tune into frequencies, hertz frequencies, getting into meditation vibes. Obviously, if they need to go to the doctor, they can go to the doctor. Like, we can't force anyone. And also, it would be responsible if you feel like someone needs to seek, immediate medical care. Definitely do that. But at the same time, understanding that a lot of these spontaneous seemingly medical urgent issues are just the body's way of expressing these energetic integrations. So with that said, again, this is to just bring more calm to the mind, and this is also like a communication to the soul to remember, like, a lot of these issues are not permanent. It might last for a couple of hours, it could last for 24 hours, but this is not to it is not, it's not happening to make you feel like, or to make anyone feel like this is the big one, or this is something that's going to end you. It's not. So I know for me personally, there have been some very interesting um pain that I was feeling in different parts of my body, especially around these sorts of integration times, these collective cosmic integrations that are taking place after, ascension, as a result of the ascension process. So take time with yourself. Once again, hydrate, calm yourself down. One of the reasons why a lot of people go into or experience medical emergencies is because they are seeing certain changes that they're not used to, and then they start freaking out. So the best thing to do is to calm down. And that's just a general rule of thumb. I'm gonna tap into this other deck here. Okay, so with these energies come manifestation, and a lot of joy. I do feel like there's something healing with the inner child. I do think a lot of people are going to be reconnecting with the joys of their inner child, maybe revisiting certain things that brought them happiness, Um, I get a sense of people kind of feeling more of themselves when they're in nature. So going out into nature is going to be very helpful to your nervous system. Um, and what's coming to me is some people are more receptive to aligning with Mother Nature in the daytime. Some are receptive at night. Some of you are stargazers. I mean, when I say some of you, I just mean you're just more prone to going out in the night and looking up and receiving those messages a lot easier than others. Maybe some of you need to be out in the daytime to get those daytime solar vibes. It's important to explore that. They're saying it's important for your alignment. Um, Phases. So they're saying yeah, there's so for some of you, pay attention to the phases of the moon. I think for some of you in here, I don't know, astrology, something about it is awakening within you. There's something like you're starting to explore. So there's encouragement to continue going, learning about the stars, being initiated. There's like a beginning energy with that. So there's someone in here or whoever is going to be tapping into this recording who is being encouraged to explore astrology. Um, there's also, we have the manifestation card. So the manifestation card is coming in with the 9 energy. I do feel like certain things that you've wanted, certain things that you've been writing down you've wanted are going to be coming in for this time. At this time, I mean, the energy feels like the time frame this week, next week, something you've been wanting or wishing for. It feels like it's coming into fruition. Um, on this particular card, this woman is holding up a cloud and it's raining. It's heavy rain, and we can see the puddles at her feet. So the humid days, what's coming to mind, the hot days, the humid days, the uncomfortable days, it felt like there was no sight of relief, and finally the clouds broke and rain is falling. So yes, completion, manifestation. And we have 9 coming up twice actually, y'all, because at the top of my other deck here, the 9 is just sitting comfortably on top of the deck. This feels like a reward season. Um, and they're saying it's a reward season for everyone who has allowed themselves to surrender to the process and continue to surrender, continue to release. Um, yeah, this is definitely a reward season, y'all. Let's see what else is coming through. um they're saying the only thing that can stop or delay is any form of resistance. So don't wow yeah, don't let resistance don't allow fear or ego to cause any blockages. Don't be your own saboteur. Be in the alignment with nature. Be in the alignment with the universe. Wow. And they're even saying self-pity. Like they were saying, woe is me. That self-pity energy gotta go. You know? I don't know. I think sometimes it's easy to just kind of sulk. So if you've been feeling like things haven't been working out, it really does not help you to sulk, because you are now participating in opposition's agenda. Imagine joining the enemy's team. We don't need that. You don't need that. So observe your like your actions, observe your thoughts, take inventory on, like, literally, if you can, stop yourself in the middle of it all, and then reverse that energy. If you feel like, oh, I can't do that, like, wait, I can do that. I will attempt to do it and I will fix it later. And claim, fear, you release fear. Release fear. Set your heart free. All right, I'm going to pull one more card before I pull the animal totem for the collective guidance. Oh, let me do. Okay, so we have 19. Is this the second time? No. We have the number 19 and the guardian card, guard your energy. We do have the wolf totem coming in. This message is pretty straightforward. This is not anything I feel that is, I don't know, sometimes the energy comes in a different way to kind of unpack. I don't know, this feels like straight up guard your energy. I feel like in these times, especially if they're speaking to reward season or being awarded, this is really the time where folks start to sniff around. And so, and they're, I don't know, they're kind of pointing to like the forgiveness energy, and maybe some folks coming back around to make amends. Just be in a balanced state of being logical and compassionate, and again, raising the vibes. Feeling like you're making sound decisions moving forward. So when they're saying guard your energy, this is about participating in your own protection of the things that are for you and what's ahead for you, what's coming up. I get a vibe of like there's a new season and a new cycle that is upon us. Even on top of, in this card, the wolf is present, and on top are the different phases of the moon. And interestingly enough, it's the full moon that's sitting on top of his, right over his head. So it does feel like a completion. It feels like a completion energy. So truly, in these moments of transition, this is when people try to slide right in. This is when people start to sniff around. This is when you get that text, hey, haven't heard from you in a minute. What can I extract from this? What kind of energy can I extract from this conversation? You know, listen, if you have to side eye the phone, but you can approach the situation with light, or you can approach the situation ancestrally, have the conversation with you yourself, and say, I release whatever with this person, and then you can hit that block button. That's why you pay for your phone bill. The block button works. Okay, so remember, some of these conversations, these reconciliations can happen on an astral tip, because not everyone needs to have it. The conversation doesn't need to be in person. Some people are just not there yet. Just out of, yeah, and you'll be able to gauge the situation because you've experienced this person before. And again, and sometimes you can even wait and have a conversation with your ancestors. You can check in energetically. How are you feeling in your heart space? Is this something that you really want to deal with right now? If it's a no, then you leave it to God. You leave it to the divine. And if a conversation happens in the future, it happens in the future. But right now, this is about preserving your roads, but again, still liberating yourself from old energies. So remember, a lot of these things can be resolved in the astrals on a soul level, you know, and And it can be just between you and the divine. Say, I forgive this person, but I don't need to talk to this person anymore. I'm good. So that is what's coming through, and I am going to pull an animal totem card. I know wolf came out, and but we're going to see if there's any other guidance that is being offered by the animal realm. Let's see. Totem. All right, so we have elephant. Elephant totem is very protective. Animal totem does speak to ancestral protection. So and abundance. It speaks to not leaving anyone behind. It speaks to community, reconnecting with your soul family. I think this is where the roads are heading to, because if they're speaking to forgiveness to this extent and relationship dynamics, it means that room is being left for people who are really worth your time, your energy, your heart. So I think this is what is being healed within a lot of us. And don't be surprised if in the next week or so, or within the month of May especially, that you start to meet people that you don't really have to you don't really have to do much. It is a flow. There's a flow there when you're dealing with them. There is a harmonic. You almost feel like you're dealing with yourself in some ways, and it feels like home. So elephant is reminding us of this. And I'm even getting like deep roots, like, yeah, it feels like old soul family connections, like people that you've known in other lives. um yeah, people who are like loyal. There's a lot of loyalty in this energy too. And Taurus, they're loyal. I know, I'm telling y'all, Taurus, I have some Taurus people that I've known or are either really close to me, or I've crossed paths with. They are very loyal. So this energy feels loyal. It feels like people who are worth being loyal for, and people that would be loyal to you. But heart aligned, not codependent. Okay, so yeah, so that's what's coming through for this collective reading. I thank you all for tuning in. Hope it resonated. I give thanks to the ancestors, to the angelics, ascended masters, sacred animal spirits, and to the fae. I give thanks. I'm going to get into some of the star alignment information. I thoroughly enjoyed your reading, Natou, and it resonates big time. The Taurus energies, as I was kind of saying a moment ago, they are definitely going to focus on the physical. The South Node is in Virgo. It is what it is. We have things to clear out on a body level. There's been a lot of just false technology with the chemtrails sprayed in the sky, vaccine problems, things they put in the vaccine that people probably don't know about. And they're trying to force people, guilt people, strong arm people into taking vaccines, but what the vaccines leave behind and what it's all connected to and what the purpose of some of that stuff is very insidious. So the clean out taking place right now, we have, it could be your personal space. It could be your finances. Anything that is attempting to, or not anything is attempting, but anything that was, right, obstructing you. So it doesn't always have to be something attempting to obstruct you, but it could have just been something that was an obstruction. It could have been an area of fear area. Something you wouldn't look at because of some kind of childhood wounding. And while you weren't allowing dynamic energy to enter that space, who knows, what was trying to benefit off of that, because low resonance things, do try to find where there's a lower resonance or where there's some sadness, a feeling of misery or desperation or what have you. What we have going on with the current stars, Jupiter is having a beautiful, very, very close connection with the part of fortune, and the part of fortune is showing up in Gemini. So this is a time where you really can get your mind clear, and things can show up in your life over the next 6 weeks. I mean, it could be 6 to 7 weeks. Things can be showing up in your life
that make it really clear what you might be dealing with, that you're seeing what you're seeing, those sorts of things. This is a conjunction alignment between Jupiter and the part of fortune, and Jupiter's in 20 degrees. Part of fortune's in 14 degrees. That 20th degree, being a scorpionic degree, is really asking you to rise to the occasion of your life. Some of this can mean digging deep, looking at the writing on the wall, paying attention to things that maybe anything stagnant in your life that shouldn't be stagnant anymore, and why has it been stagnant, or why have you been stagnant in that area? What can you do to get your blood pumping? What can you do to get your energy flowing, getting some kind of chi, even if you start just a simple habit couple times a week to get some movement going in that area? Because there can be, from what I'm seeing, some problems if you're not getting chi into certain areas. You don't want to lose strength unnecessarily. Jupiter being there in a scorpionic degree in Gemini is really removing the blinders. It's really about coming up to a higher level. Does not necessarily mean that in every single case this can be super smooth. If you're dealing with a narcissistic type of personality, if you're an emotional manipulator, there could be attempts to resist you seeing what you're seeing and moving towards empowerment. There could be, they could try to sweeten it up and pretend, oh, they're not the villain, to try to confuse you, because this is what they do. This is how they were able to infiltrate, most more than likely, and this is how they've been able to try to stick around. I do feel the ancestors are on this heavy. So this energy is meant to uplift and allow the light to reach your mind. And I give thanks to the ancestors. When the light reaches our mind, we're able to see what we're seeing. And that means whatever's been enjoying, I want to say stolen pleasures at the expense of you, has to go. So you can see why maybe there's been so much in the way of resistance, right? And trying to keep creating confusing situations, because once leaving this pathway, they're not really going to be able to come back in it, because you're awakened down on a soul level. You'll have grown from that lesson. So they would never be able to come back around you with that same act. And it does seem like the majority of these types of energies are one-trick ponies. They do what they do. They deal with a playbook. And beyond that, it just seems like they don't know what to do. Who knows how conscious they even are. With the part of fortune in 14 degrees, I feel like they're at this time is more of a healthier alignment. Coming into, I don't want to say, because it's not a starting energy. It's coming into some sort of steadiness or sturdiness of position. But the key thing here is it's very warm and there's a lot of support around it. Natou talked about, the soul alignment, and this is a very big thing in the times that we're in, getting aligned with people who are actually good for you and you're good for them. And we do have control over these things. It is for us to get over tendencies to be too nice, where it is the wrong thing to do, because too nice could get you into trouble with people who are predatory and possibly veiling it with a smile, or pretending that they like you, or pretending that they love you, but they have some other agenda, in mind. There can be a substantial increase along income and what have you, but this is by you looking at what you've been gifted with and beginning to do something with these gifts. So if you've been leaving things on the shelf, if you've been leaving things part done, this is going to be the time to power through that and find ways to maybe set up some kind of scheduling to work on those things that you want to see flourish, because there's a lot of water being poured on these sorts of things, right? Flowers that are supposed to have been bloomed. And there's a lot of sunlight coming to the people who are moving into that alignment, rather than getting deer in the headlights, caught up in yet another energy manipulator or the same energy manipulators. It's time to just really turn your attention from that and leave it to the divine. Leave it to the creator. Some people look at the creator as source. However you look at it, this is not a religious conversation. It's a spiritual one. Leave it to the divine. Leave it to your ancestors. Call on angelics for assistance and move towards what you know is actually good for you. You'll be able to feel it in your heart now, how you're supposed to be aligned. Listen to that. Some of the other things, we have Venus in 27 degrees of Pisces, and this has been a conjunction going on for a little while now. Saturn's in 27 degrees, the North Node's in 25 degrees of Pisces. These are all in Pisces. The Moon's in 18 degrees of Pisces. So there's a lot of emotional growth going on, and it does feel from like a very, very young age. So wherever anything maybe tried to pull the wool over your eyes, scapegoat you, whatever, that's getting thrown to the wayside, and you're being allowed to graduate from those levels and come up much higher. So there can be things that you're feeling taking place with your head, and you can have some dreams that maybe don't make a whole lot of sense, but you don't have to study them hard. A lot of these might be, at least 60% of it is a release dream. And then the ancestors might be trying to tell you something amidst the release dream or right after or something like that. But the fact here is whatever's been attached to you that's not supposed to be attached to you is being removed. And this is going to allow you to access pathways you should have been able to access. But whatever, especially with these Piscean energies, whatever tried to hijack what you're supposed to have, keep you from moving towards what you're supposed to do, that's what's being cleared out. And it was when you were little. So, take it as it resonates, but that's what these energies are doing. So there can be aspects of you that you haven't been in touch with since you were 2. Awakening. You could have very innocent, very sensitive feelings. You might just really be in a very innocent state. So do stay away from those who feel wrong, that might want to make use of that, because the ancestors are absolutely not trying to hear that. Like, that ain't it. The other thing, we're in 4 degrees of Taurus, so there's a lot of family lineage, like reparations taking place on genetic levels. And this is realignment with the timelines people are supposed to actually be on. So, it's coming to mind. There have been people in the past who've done like hex work on people and try to ensnare them and keep people with them when they're not supposed to be with them. All of this stuff it's being disbanded. Cords are being cut like on very deep levels that it required archangelic help to get to. So Archangel Raphael was instrumental in getting people to these levels, because there's like some sort of stacking thing that takes place on the lower ether, and then it becomes a thing of actually, not being able to access things because someone else was put there, and this person might not be the villain that's involved in hijacking your family line, but that's kind of the trick, I think, is, they're giving confirmation. There's more to it, but this can go on for generations, so it's like you're coming, as a spirit to get back what's yours, and the people sitting where you're supposed to sit or blocking what you're supposed to pass through might have been placed there by those who stole from the family line, or who inherited or received what was stolen from your family line ages, like many moons ago. So there's a lot going on, and when we deal with the body, we store emotions there, and it's very genetic, like on a genetic deep level. These can be very old emotions, and things can come out, where you're like, wow, that's not usually like me, or I don't know how I knew that, but I did, or there could be prophetic dreams. And this is because we have all kinds of spiritual gifts, and there was a lot of, indoctrination and fear-mongering that was trying to keep people from looking at their divinity. And no disrespect to anyone, but, even when we look biblically, Yeshua, who they call, they use a different name, but the J didn't exist to the 15th century. So historically, it's kind of questionable. But Yeshua, I'll call him, because that kind of adds is what his name probably was. He made it clear, right? He asked, "Do ye not know that ye are gods?" And so that suggests to me, if he is asking this, and you don't really ever hear hardly anybody focus on that. There's others that want to focus on, you're sinners, and kind of utilize an energy of kind of like making you be down on yourself and see the worst in yourself. And for there to be, "Do you not know that you're God?" It's like, well, you emerge from the divine. So you're a child of the divine. You know what I'm saying? So if there's godhood in you, it's, I'm sure, a god or goddess in training, right, down here on the earth plane. But embrace that divinity, embrace the spiritual gifts that were given to you by your maker. And I think that that's where we're at. And those who benefited from people going into depression, feeling they're small, they're sinners, they're, whatever the story is, they were able to, for a time, push people out of off of their destiny paths, trick them to look the other way, trick them to thinking certain things aren't possible for them. This is what is being cleaned up right now. So I do think I'm going to probably close out right here. That's a lot. But I want to say props to Mars and Leo. That's my natal Mars. Mars is in 2 degrees of Leo, which is a Taurian degree. Utilize that strength within, and please do not feel any hesitation in calling on the divine for help when you feel you need it. You can call on the divine for help with clarity. This is a time to see what you're seeing, not think, oh, maybe something's wrong with your feelings, or you don't know why you feel this way about a person, but something ain't right. Yeah, you're probably right. So call on angelic help. Archangels are out here. Archangels are standing by. And it might not be an 800 number that you're going to be able to call them on, but they're always around you. So just feel free to call out Archangel Michael, because I'm hard pressed to believe any other spirit can come and impersonate Archangel Michael. You're going to feel when Archangel Michael's around, and he'll show you. He'll show you he changed something. So I think it's just time for us to realize like what the truth is when it comes to our spirituality and what we do have access to, and that we're not meant to just be down here dealing with prolonged suffering. That is something else. That's greed mongers trying to play with our heads, trying to trick us into thinking we can't have. And that ain't going to get it. You know, like the ancestors are showing me like sleeves rolled up. Like it's a done deal on that. So just watch how things get reorganized so that the people who are meant to have the fruits of their labors do. You know, and the divine ain't playing. Like it's kind of like Minority Report, right? It's been relayed to me before. Certain things can't be punished until the infraction is done, because it's not Minority Report out here, nor will it be. You know, so when people are like, why God, why is this happening? Why did that happen? Because maybe that person could not be caught, punished, put in their place until they acted on certain energies. You know, because otherwise it's like Minority Report. It's like, I think you had a thought to do something negative. And that's when we get into 1984 stuff, which they did try with that 2020 type stuff and what we've been dealing with. They did try it with all of that. You know, like watch what you say. You can't say this, you can't say that, and canceling people and all this crazy stuff right in front of our face. But that's just not how it works. You can't be punished for something you have not done yet. So maybe that will help you if you're wondering, like, why were these different things allowed to happen to me? Sometimes maybe you just need to be reminded, right? Like, how can people get properly sorted according to how they will move under certain conditions until they take certain actions? And then the divine works with that. So, and you can call for protection in advance, too. Don't forget that, because they do that, too. I hope that you found that helpful. I don't feel like there's anything else I need to say other than, you know, you can put water under your bed that's come through from the ancestors before. I get thanks. You put a little salt in it. You put a little cinnamon in it. This can help you. It can help you to be protected while you're dreaming. And it can also help you to rise with just more optimism in your heart. You're a light, and your body is a light conductor, so you want as much light to be emanating from your form as possible, and then you can magnetize what's for you. But if you're hidden, how can your abundance find you and connect if your resonance is too muddled, like a bad phone call, like a bad network, you know, something's going on like with phone lines or whatever? Like how can there be connectivity, right? So it is important for us to be easier on our bodies. Get the chi flowing in your body. Don't work yourself to death. It's just, why are you doing that? You know, take that time, because if you take time to feel better, to get yourself in alignment, guess what? It's a mirror dynamic down here. Your boss has to take time as well. It's just how it works down here. So if you're like, I deserve better, oh, guess what the earth plane has to do? Well, she realized she deserves better. And I'm not talking about the earth plane, because props to Mama Earth, but just people who like to play the game hoping you ain't woke yet. But it's that type of thing. So as you wake up to what you should have, your divine light wakes up with you. Not that it ever went to sleep, but you get the point. And now you can magnetize to you what you're supposed to have. So it's just really time to wake up to that. I think the divine has worked overtime, clearing all of this nonsense, you know what I'm saying, and working with us to clear this nonsense so that the light can actually reach the people it's intended for. You know, and I give thanks to the Creator for the fact that I've been able to be of assistance in any kind of way. And I had no idea it was this deep, but y'all, it is. You don't have to take it from me. Any reading you ever get, make sure it's resonating with you. If you don't feel it, you don't have to accept it. But I can speak from what I have experienced. I can speak from connecting with ancestors I trust, and they show and they prove. And it's just not a time right now to be assuming that you're just going to get buried in problems. Like, allow the light to reach you, and it will. All right, y'all. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you so much for tuning in. And do get at us on YouTube. We may have some other streams on other places, but right now we definitely have it on YouTube. It's under Healing Lights Collective, all one word. Again, that's Healing Lights Collective. And if you are looking to get at me for any kind of private sessions, or you have questions, you can get at me at www.vibegarden.org. And sometimes you do have to add the 3 W's because it depends on your device. If you just put vibegarden.org, it doesn't always come up. The site's definitely there. And you can get at Miss Natou, I don't know if she mentioned it, at www.bynatalieetienne.com. If you were looking for private sessions, and she does readings. She's a Usui Reiki master. She got a bunch of Fleek products. List goes on. Do check out her website. All right, y'all. I'm about to shut my mouth now. Thank you for listening, and peace be upon you.